Hey everybody, Paul Turner, and this is our first session on Firshand Faith. This is our video discussion guide that we're putting together for all of you that are young adults, 18 to 25, 30, whoever's watching it. It's good for me, good for you. And we're going to do this Netflix style, which means I'm producing all the videos right now, all the discussions, all the chapters, and that way you can go through it at your convenience. So we're going to just take it and put all the videos up, and then you can kind of search them and go from there. We hope that you're going to comment. We hope that you're going to kind of participate at a different level because obviously the more conversation we get going down below there, the more fruitful, more effective this is going to be. So feel free to talk to one another, leave comments, like each other's comments, all that kind of good stuff. If you know some other young adults who are interested in Firshand Faith, which would be just the story, just the conversation we're going to have about what it means to have your own faith versus having your parents' faith, and having that firsthand relationship with Jesus versus something that was passed down to you from your parents or the church or something like that, because we want you to discover Jesus for yourself. And that's what this whole series is about, is having a firsthand faith in Christ. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read just some portions of chapter 1 here, and then go through a few questions. Hopefully the video will not last very long. So hopefully you're watching this in between cat videos and videos where people are setting themselves on fire, or baby videos, whatever you're watching. I hope you're having a good time, but I hope you're taking time to go ahead and develop your faith. So let me go ahead and just go to chapter 1 here, and I'll start off with the first chapter is why firsthand faith matters, okay? And I'll read some sections, I'll ask a few questions, and I'll ask you to just kind of respond down below, and then everybody's comments can kind of go from there. Here's the chapter here, and I'll kind of read it from this way. It says, and this is from Josh and Ryan Shook, who are kind of mid to late 20 guys who kind of went through their own process, their own development process of their faith. And so they wrote a book to kind of show you and show me how they kind of reached that point. And so this is part of the story there. We'll read through it together. By the way, you can buy the book if you want. It's Kindle. You can get Kindle edition. You can get iBooks. You can get all that stuff. You go to firsthandfaith.com, I think it is, and check it out. So here we go, starting. It says, what we have discovered, this is Nick or Ryan here writing, says, we have discovered that what we have discovered was that what we thought was our faith wasn't ours after all. Not completely. Mostly it belonged to our parents. Some of it belonged to the youth pastor or our friends. Sure, some of it was real for us too, but a lot of it wasn't. If you had closely inspected our personal beliefs, you might have noticed some flimsy plastic labels hanging on them. On them would have been scribbled things like secondhand, or belongs to my dad, or just trying to fit in. Our faith was something we had inherited, and it felt like it was not originally intended for us. That wasn't our parents' fault, or youth pastor's fault, or the church's fault. Our parents taught us that Christianity wasn't about religion and about religion and rules, but about a relationship with God who made us. Yes, they made mistakes, but we saw them live out a genuine faith in front of us. Two imperfect parents seeking to trust a perfect God. We truly feel blessed to have our parents who have a real and authentic faith, but it's theirs. It doesn't matter how real your parents' faith is, or anyone else's for that matter, if you don't develop a faith of your own. A handed-down faith that you've never owned for yourself doesn't give meaning to your life. You might sort of wear it, but it doesn't say much about who you are. In fact, hand-me-down beliefs can start to weigh on you. They become a source of shame and guilt, a bar set too high that reminds you of your failures, or they just seem outdated and irrelevant. Hand-me-down faith may work when things are going well, but when pressures and problems hit, what you thought you believed will crumble. And I think that's just a great opening section there to the book. And I want to ask you a few questions. Number one is this. Now that you're out of high school and things like that, maybe you're away from your parents and things like that, and your faith maybe has been challenged, what have you discovered about your faith that you say, you know what, that was kind of my parents' faith, and I don't know if I agree with that, or I don't know if that works for me, or whatever. Is there something that they've passed down to you that doesn't feel quite right to you? Is there something there that you're starting that separation period for yourself? Go ahead and comment down below and tell me something that maybe your parents taught you that's not ringing true for you today. And it may not be because it's not true, but because you just haven't discovered it yet. You haven't found that truth yet in your own life. And so I want to encourage you, comment down below and tell me something that you've discovered for yourself. Maybe you're in your first year of college, your first year of real a job or work or things like that, and you've discovered something about your parents maybe, or so your youth pastor, something that I taught, or say, look, I don't know if I quite jive with that yet. I'm not there. I don't have that firsthand faith, and I feel like some of the things that are on me now are weighing me down. So let me know what you think about that. Let me offer just a couple other things. Towards the end of each chapter, they offer a couple other questions there. And I want to read just a couple of quotes from other people who have commented on the subject as well. And it says here, this is from a student in Kentucky, says, I was at church every time the doors were open. I led prayers for my sports teams. I even started a petition that we would have student prayer at my high school graduation. I did that because that was expected of the pastor's grandson. The breakthrough for me didn't come until I was 24 years old and my mother had a heart attack. I realized then that when she died, my faith would die too, if I didn't develop a faith of my own. What an important quote there that we see in our own lives, that sometimes faith does not become real until struggle comes and happens to us. And then we decide really from that point on, that point of that struggle, that what do I really believe about God? What do I really believe about my own faith? And so if you'll just take a few moments, go ahead and make a few comments down below. Tell me a little bit about your journey, about your faith journey. I'd love to hear about it. And of course, we'll be dialoguing back and forth. And so take some time today, think about what we've talked about today, and then leave a comment below. All right? And we'll see you go on, hit the link, and you can move on to chapter 2 if you want to, or you can watch more cat videos, whatever you'd like to do. All right? We'll talk to you next time.